Joining us now is a retired colonel of a retired army officer in the Nigerian army, I shall say, retired Colonel Frank Eboigbe. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us, and happy Armed Forces Remembrance Day.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Now, sir, every year Nigeria celebrates this Armed Forces Remembrance Day. What would you say about this celebration as far as its impact goes on the families of the fallen heroes?
Well, these celebrations have been going on for a very long time. Yes, we really have to look at the purpose of celebration. Are the families getting what they are supposed to get? Yes, to some extent. There are hitches here and there. And then when it comes to a time like hitches are made, everybody seems to celebrate it instead of seeing it as a very sober moment to reflect on what has happened to this fallen hero and what is happening to their various families. So for me, it is a time to remember fallen. It is also a time to reflect and really look at what we have been doing for their family.
Speaking of which, and we do apologize for wherever you weren't quite audible, and we'll try and address that. But in the meantime, it is quite apt to call these fallen soldiers, armed forces members, fallen heroes, because they put their lives on the line, and in the line of duty is where they became dearly departed. As far as the families of the fallen heroes are concerned, the state government and the federal government have promised they get full support, but there are some complaints of not getting enough of their entitlements or support. Could you speak to that issue?
Yes, that is true. They are not getting exactly what they are supposed to get. I think the problem here, we have everything written down, but pronouncements, but when it comes to implementation, we have problems. Some of these soldiers died. Their families are still out there, struggling on how to get their death benefits. That is not supposed to be. Supposed to be. So, as soon as it happens, the necessary machineries are put in place to give them whatever benefits they are entitled to. But if you recall, sometime a year or two ago, veterans had to get the Ministry of Defense. That is not supposed to be. Not supposed to be. So you have to fight for what ordinarily you're supposed to get. So that's the situation they find themselves. And some of them have been complaining. Some have gotten what they, some are not getting. That's not fair.
Colonel, this Armed Forces Remembrance Day for the year is happening with the specter of certain flashes of insecurity across the country, kidnappings in the Federal Capital Territory, the insecurity and the killings in Plateau State, especially during the last year's Christmas celebrations. What would you say about the state of the war against insecurity in the country vis-a-vis the Nigerian armed forces?
Sorry, can you take that in?
Okay, I apologize you couldn't hear me, but I was asking you about the state of insecurity in the country and what your opinion is concerning the armed forces and their response to these problems, inclusive of which, of course, is the Plateau situation with the killings during Christmas celebrations last year, and insecurity in the Federal Capital Territory and also in the northeastern part of the nation.
Very unfortunately, these things are happening. The military is stretched. They can't do it all. They can't be everywhere. Why? when things happen, they are always responsible. But is the military supposed to be the first responder? That remains to be seen. But you find them all over the doing jobs, men and other stuff. They are supposed to be a way of handling this. When another problem I see here is flow of information. They get the necessary intelligence when they are, and when this information is made available, how authentic are they? Don't forget the people fight the bandits, terrorists are all members of this same society, the Nigerian society. So you find an element of mischief on some part of people who know these people, they don't want to say anything about them. So the military can only work with what they have. That is available intelligence. Hopefully, things will improve so that they can nip some of these things at the bud.
Finally, Colonel, we know how capital intensive supply of the ammunitions and the weapons for the Nigerian Armed Forces is, but we've run out of time, so we'll leave it at that. And we thank you for being with us today. We've been speaking with the retired Colonel Frank Eboigbe, who joined us today on the very, very solemn and important celebration of the Nigerian Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Many thanks.